There was testimony that Suzanne was having an affair with her sweetheart from high school. This is Suzanne and her suspected lover, Jeff Libler, from their 1987 yearbook. Barry Morphew went to the same high school 2 grades ahead.
I think an interesting question that arises out of this whole idea that Suzanne was having an affair with Jeff Libler is, if she wasn't having that affair, would she still be alive today? Also, if she wasn't having an affair, would she have sent this text saying, "I'm done, and I could care less what you've been up to for years"? If you've been up to something yourself, are you really going to care that much if someone else is cheating on you? And so it is, I think, very important, this text where Suzanne says, "I'm done," that in a way was perhaps a trigger, the final straw to perhaps the recipient. What do you think?
I got nightmares in my head, I fear. Thoughts build up until I can't feel. My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear.
Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science. So in this analysis we're going to deal with the affidavit from page 13 dealing with Suzanne's affair with Jeff Libler. As we go through the affidavit, we're also going to be dealing with elements from Jeff, Suzanne, and Barry's backstory, which brings us to, I think, a fascinating insight, something you've probably never heard before, and something that I predict may come up at trial. It's based on my boots-on-the-ground investigation in that area when I went to Moffat, something that's quite interesting, so look out for that. But before we get to that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. If you're finding this analysis worthwhile, please hit the thanks button and let's get started. So you're probably going to want to take out your notebooks and follow with me from the affidavit, top of page 14. Upon the recovery of Suzanne's spy pen, Special Agent Grusing and Special Agent Kenneth Harris began prioritizing anyone named Jeff in Suzanne's social media, her phone records, or other accounts.
So how did the evidence of the alleged affair come out? Well, it came from a spy pen like this. Suzanne actually planted the pen inside her husband's car because she thought he was cheating on her. But instead, the pen recorded Suzanne talking to her lover.
On the pen, Suzanne spoke to an unknown male named Jeff while she was in Florida as if he were her lover, but no last name or phone number was provided. After months of investigation and after working through a list of about 20 or more Jeffs, possibly associated with Suzanne, Jeff Libler, a former high school friend of Suzanne, was identified and interviewed. And then Libler provides the following information. Now, if we go back slightly, what is fascinating with this is that the police find 20 or more Jeffs, and it's quite interesting that they say possibly associated with Suzanne. Why? Because on the night Suzanne died, there were a bunch of Facebook requests for men called Jeff. And do you really think that Suzanne did that? And were these guys the real Jeff Libler, or was this meant to confuse the police about what was really going on? And it does make you wonder, did Suzanne's murderer know about the spy pen, know what is on the spy pen, and take precautions to sort of camouflage him? Anyway, let's go back to the affidavit. On November 4, 2020, Special Agent Grusing and Special Agent Harris spoke with Libler on the phone and recognized his voice as being the voice on Suzanne's pen recording. After discussing his relationship with Suzanne and Libler talking about their secret meetings, he asked to continue the interview in person. He said after he learned Suzanne went missing, he figured there's no way she's alive. So he was quite certain about that aspect. And then who did he think murdered Suzanne? He said he's not proud about not coming forward, well, he shouldn't be, giving reasons to agents that he has 6 kids and a wife and will lose his job. Libler said when this happened, he thought Suzanne was abducted, so he kept quiet. He stated time went by and he did not want her girls to find out. He does not think Barry knew about him and Suzanne or what set him off, other than the fact that the guy could be easily set off by anything. Now, doesn't that suggest Libler's suspicions about Barry? right? And I do think, what do you think? Do you think Barry didn't know about Jeff, given these Facebook friend requests around the time that Suzanne died?
Your heart, that's what I crave. I love how you love me. You're the sweetest thing I've ever known, goes the recording. An FBI agent testified that Barry told a friend, if I find him, I will shoot off his blank and shove them down his throat.
So do you think Libler was telling the truth when he said the guy could be easily set off by anything? On November 13, 2020, Special Agent Grissing and Harris interviewed Libler in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Libler said that after Suzanne's first message of "Howdy, stranger," so she reached out to him in 2018. They began talking on the phone. Libler said he was nervous to talk to agents and what he did was disgraceful. In the summer after Libler's first year of college in Indiana, he attended a party with some friends at Suzanne's house. Barry and Suzanne were a couple at that stage, but Barry was not at that party. Libler said he and Suzanne kind of hooked up, not really, at the party. Libler played golf almost daily at the time, and Barry worked on the golf course. This is a very important insight into their backstory. Golf near Alexandria. Libler played there almost daily. Barry worked there, probably played there as well, and that is actually how he met Suzanne, on the golf course. Barry found out about Libler and Suzanne hooking up at the party upon seeing Libler on the golf course. So that's also where this confrontation took place between the two, on a golf course. Barry jumped off the tractor and he was ready to beat me down. Libler told Barry, "You're going to lose your job. You're going to lose everything." Libler talked him out of it, and that was the last interaction Libler had with Barry. Libler said he didn't talk to Suzanne until 2018, following that night in Indiana. He explained, "I tell her I carried a torch for her all that time." Libler and Suzanne used FaceTime to communicate in 2018, though Libler's daughter saw one of their communications in late 2018, and Libler told Suzanne they had to stop. They did not speak until around Christmas 2018 because Libler deleted Facebook, Instagram, and all messaging between him and Suzanne. Around Christmas 2018, Suzanne found Libler's LinkedIn account and sent a message with words to the effect of, "I'm worried sick about you, are you okay?" So she reaches out to him again on the one sort of social media platform that sort of remains. Libler responds to the message and they began talking again. First in a platonic way, then their relationship progressed again. Libler said they communicated through FaceTime but did not physically see each other in 2018. Suzanne and Libler communicated regularly from late 2018 through May 19, 2020. Remember, she died very likely around that time, May 9, and she provided him with numerous reasons why she wanted to leave Barry. Between February 2019 and February 2020, Libler and Suzanne met each other in New Orleans, Florida, Indianapolis, Michigan, Dallas, and again in Florida. During the last 5 trips, they stayed in hotels, talked and shared meals, and had consensual sex. Libler has not traveled to Colorado to see Suzanne, partly because Suzanne said Barry has surveillance cameras which are all around the house. Libler stated, "Here's what she told me about her relationship with Barry. Not good, lot of fights, very argumentative. Felt like it was horrible for her health mentally." Libler asked Suzanne if she felt afraid that Barry would hurt her, and she answered, "He would never cross that line. He's learned." Libler took that to mean something happened physically one time to Suzanne, whether Barry shoved her or hit her. Now, what that possibly suggests is on a possible previous occasion, Barry may have done something physically to Suzanne and she responded. Why else would she say, in terms of the physical thing, he would never cross that line, he's learned? And so it does make one wonder, was part of that learning using something like a tranquilizer thing so that there wouldn't be a physical thing, so that there wouldn't be this physical alteration where it seems like she was someone who could really put up a fight if she was confronted, and had in the past. Isn't that a logical inference to draw out of this particular paragraph? The other thing I want to draw your attention to is when I went to Moffat, I also went to the nearby town of Creestone, just out of curiosity, And what did I find right outside the town of Creestone, which is literally, it's 20 minutes drive. There's a golf course there. And there are not many golf courses in that part of Colorado. So if Barry wanted to play golf, wouldn't he have gone to this golf course? And so I do think what is going to be interesting is how can they connect Barry's movements and to where Suzanne's remains were ultimately found. While it's possible that the investigators may highlight this particular aspect that Barry, well, I guess the question is, did Barry go and play golf at this golf course? When last did he play golf there, and what were his movements to this particular golf course? Because when you drive back along that road, where you turn right to go to Moffat, which would take you back to in the direction of Maysville and Puma Path, if you turn left instead, the burial site is literally less than a minute's drive. It's like right there. You just turn left, and then it's the very next road to the right. All right, so we are only about a third of the way through this section of the affidavit. We'll resume this in the next episode, going back to page 15 of the 131-page affidavit. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.